Hey everybody, welcome to Artists on Lockdown. I am Ron Onesti, hanging and banging with two of the greatest drummers in rock and roll history. Coming up in just a minute. This is episode 20. We got a special guest. Kip Winger will be with us in just a couple minutes. Want to bring to the stage right now. Usually we do this a little bit differently, but tonight I'm going to bring the legend himself from Vanilla Fudge, from the Rod Stewart Band, from the Jeff Beck Band, from so many other projects. Please welcome my older brother. I shouldn't say that. My big brother, Carmine Appice. Carmine.
Yeah, big brother.
Big brother.
Big brother.
So
now we'll bring
normally,
on the little brother. We could bring the little brother on.
Well, see, normally I start with the little brother,
Yeah,
but we need a big intro because we missed him tremendously last week.
Yeah.
Our last show with Ted Nugent was a great one.
Yeah, it was.
And, but he couldn't be with us. So I want like a drum roll. All right. For a drummer. Okay, let's do this right. Ladies and gentlemen, one deal from Last Design, from Black Sabbath, the one, the only, our little big brother, Vinny Appice, otherwise known as Carmine 2. What is he doing? There he is.
How's that look?
That is awesome.
Ooh, look at that.
You should have had a picture of your face. It would look better.
That's a matter of opinion there, big brother. Wow, look at that, man.
That's good. That's it. Now that's good.
So we missed you, Vinny. We missed you last week.
Well, I had to take the day off because you guys were changing the musical intro to put some of Dio and Sabbath in there. So
yes, and that is still working as we speak. Matter of fact, I think we just sit here silently and wait for it to happen.
it sounded the same to me. I don't know. Maybe I have to listen to it again.
I think you maybe tuned in a little bit late and didn't hear the beginning part with all your solos at the beginning. So we're working on it. Okay. Anyway, how'd you guys do this week? You have a good week, guys?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah.
I see you went shirt shopping there, Carmine.
I did. I thought I did an interview with Michael Walden the other day, and he wore all this sparkle and jet. I should have wore this on that, but I didn't. I wore just a regular shirt. But I'm just wearing this to be in competition with you, Ron, because you're always wearing cool T-shirts.
Well, you know what? This cool T-shirt says the word Winger on here. And let me tell you something. I know you guys know him. I know you guys have played with him. I'm so fortunate that I get to work with guys like you and guys like him. One of the greatest guys, I got to tell you, you really, I don't want to say it until before he goes on because I'm going to embarrass him because he really is one of the truly nicest guys in rock and roll. Gives so much back to his fans. We love having him at the Arcada Theater. Let's bring him on. Please welcome our guest for episode 20 of Artists on Lockdown, Kip Winger. There he is.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, I love you.
My mother didn't pay much attention to me as a kid.
That's funny. Hi, Kip.
What are you guys up to?
Man?
Welcome to the show. What you been up to besides recording? I know you're doing that. You're calling actually from the studio right now in Nashville, right?
No, he's calling from his car.
I am. I'm in my car. My car with my nice Wi-Fi. I'm out in the boonies at my friend's house on 113 acres. And I don't do recording studios. I have all my stuff in cases, and I just go to different cool places to, so I'm never stuck in the same place. So we've been working out at my friend Joe's, and we're set up in the living room. And, we've been working here since December.
Wow.
But, we're not so much, but we've done about four stretches of 10 days. Reb's coming again tomorrow. So.
Well, if you ever want a really cool place in Florida, that guy over there, Carmine's got a great place to record.
It looks like it.
Yeah. It's a nice little place. Vinny set me up. He built a computer and set me up and taught me how to use it. I'm getting some pretty good drum sounds in here now.
But you're not set up to record other instruments just yet.
Not yet. I've been trying. But
drum rooms.
Yeah, we're having problems with getting equipment now,
Yeah,
it's really bad.
From China. Everything's in China.
Everything's in China.
Here we go. Hey, Kip. First of all, I don't know
Is that where that commie flu comes from?
Oh, Ted Nugent, ladies and gentlemen. Carmine Nugent. Here we go. Kip, I said this in the intro. Really, I gotta say, on behalf of the fans, on behalf of us venue owners. You really are one of the classiest guys. I gotta say, in metal, in rock and roll. You come early, you do your thing, but you give so much back to the fans. You really, really do. I mean, your following of your fans is so deep. I know. I never realized I had more female friends when you come to the Arcada Theater. They all want, because of guys like you, I got to create a venue that has just one front row of like 1,000 seats because everybody wants the front row when you're here.
Well, that's nice. I appreciate it. You know what? We appreciate you because you are a very rare venue owner. I mean, you do it right. You really do it right. I mean, I've played a lot of places in life, and a lot of them they just don't do it right. And you do it right. So it must be that because you do it right, I'm really in a good mood when I play your place. Yeah. And it's
and he's got the best meatballs.
My meatballs. All kidding aside, a lot of, even my peers, they don't realize just how, I mean, look, the money's got to be right. The money's got to be there. We know that. The sound system has got to be there. I mean, you can't skimp on that stuff. But it is. We kid about meatballs. We kid about the food. But
I ain't kidding.
I know. But
you do it right, motherfucker. I mean, you do it right.
But, I realize that just the little things, because you guys are on the road. You're coming here. And you've taken some long bus trip or a long flight. We're an hour and 20 minutes or whatever from O'Hare, so that's a bitch. So, you come here and the little things make a difference. And my peers, the other venue owners, I don't know, they just don't get it. They chintz out, they cheap out, they try to. I'm like, man, make these guys feel like they're at home. It makes it comes back to you in spades. They don't get it though. I don't understand it.
Yeah, that check.
Right. Go ahead.
The check you gave me, Ron.
Oh,
It bounced.
Oh no, again?
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, listen, you guys. How do you guys know Kip? Have you played some of those what are those school things that you do, Carmine? Too?
Rock and roll fantasy camp.
Yep.
I used to do them, but I didn't get along with David, so.
Oh man. I know Vinny does. You play.
Now I've jammed a lot with Vinny, but not so much with Carmine. Man, no. I'm waiting for my chance.
Yeah. Well, me and Vinny are doing one online. We're doing an online one next month.
Oh, cool.
But I haven't really done I was involved when they first started doing it. Years and years ago when I was playing Slingerland drums and Gibson was involved in it, and they. Because Gibson had me on a salary for Slingerland, and they made me go to the one in New York and do like what they have, like Gene Simmons do. I went to every class and played with everybody, But just since then, Dave has gotten a lot bigger with, hiring Aerosmith guys and Kiss guys and all that, But
yeah.
Oh, Vinny, you've done it though.
Right? I do it a lot, yeah. I was scheduled to do 3 or 4 of them this year, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, well.
But Kip and I had some good jams, and the fun thing is it's not a gig. It's, we get to actually jam. Mm-hmm.
And, it says Carmine 2 on you, Vinny.
There you go. That's why I've been calling him Carmine 2 for the last 10 minutes.
I just noticed that. I just saw that.
Oh, okay.
Well, the other thing is I got Vinny to jam with me with Pat Thrall in Vegas one time at Vamp. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And we did a bunch of covers. It was kind of like I think it was one of my solo shows, and I was like, screw this, I want to jam with these guys. So I think Rock Camp was in town, and I called Vinny and asked him if he was game to do it. And Vamped is a very cool club in Vegas for anybody who's never been there.
It is cool.
And Coker, what's the guy's name who builds the cars?
Yeah, the Count.
Danny Coker and his wife Corey booked that. They own the club, and they book it, and it's a fucking cool club. I love that place.
Yeah.
We had a great jam, and Pat Thrall doesn't come out of hiding very much. You know, so that was fun to do that. We played Boom Boom with Danny, and I think there was a keyboard player there that night. I don't remember his name. He's more like a Broadway dude.
Yeah, I don't remember him.
Yeah, that was a fun gig.
Yeah.
So I like doing that shit because I'm like right under you guys generation wise, but I was following all you when I was I started with my brothers when I was like 8, and that I was born in '61. So, you know, it was fun for me to meet all you guys and jam with you. And when Carmine, I'm still waiting for that, but I remember.
Yeah, I see you got a nice collection of turquoise. I do too. I don't have them on now, but I've been wearing turquoise since 1967. You know, and it ends up it's my birthstone. It's my birthstone. You know.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
I lived in New Mexico for I don't know 7 years, and
you get a lot of it there.
Yeah.
I bought a couple of great pieces in there in the days when we used to tour with Hendrix, you know, and I remember the Native Americans out on the street with blankets having all these things. I bought like a big turquoise ring, like the ones you're wearing for $25.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. And then somebody stole it. I lost it on a plane coming home from China, actually. You know, I had all my jewelry in a bag, and it fell out. I had all kinds of turquoise, and
it fell out of the plane.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it fell out of the bag, and I don't know where it went, but
hit somebody on the head too, on the ground.
Oh, that must have hurt.
We're still paying that lawsuit off.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, one of the biggest shows, one of my first big shows was Alice Cooper, you know, and actually my first big show was Alice Cooper. And as you guys know, his set, guillotines, the fake truss, like it was falling, an automobile that like was in an accident. And I'm thinking to myself, holy cow, is this how all rock shows are? Now, Kip, you're obviously with Alice. When you were with the Alice Cooper show, first of all, how did that all happen? How did you land on that gig? And was it as crazy as it is now?
I was in New York, and I was friends with a producer named Bo Hill, who had just produced Rat and was having a lot of success. And I'd worked with him for a very long time in Denver since I was about 16.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was about 22, and he called me up, and they were doing a record at Atlantic on 62nd and Broadway. I'm sure you guys remember.
Yeah, I recorded that too.
That was great. I mean, they had like 4 rooms. And,
yeah.
You know, it was fucking. Arif Mardin was always in one of them.
Tom Dowd was always in one.
That was an amazing. Historically, that was an amazing place. So we did he was recording in there. He kept a room in there at that time, and they needed a bass player on 4 songs, and he called me up and said, "Get up here right away. We need 4 songs on bass." And so, you know, I went up, and I was a really big Alice Cooper fan. So, I mean, we hit it off because I knew everything about him. And
were those new songs the 4 songs? Were they new ones?
Yeah. They were doing a new album, Constrictor.
Mm-hmm.
And Kane Roberts, the guitar player, was super cool. We're still very good friends. And Kane suggested that I mention to Alice if they go out on the road that, you know, consider me or whatever. And I got the gig. Like, I didn't even have to do anything. I just played those 4 songs, and then I got in the band. And I was waiting tables at the time in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Hoboken.
Oh, I didn't know you're from Jersey. I didn't know that.
No, I'm from Colorado, but I was living in Hoboken.
Oh my God.
And then, you know, 3 months later, we were on tour. We did, the first night of that tour was Joe Louis in Detroit, live on MTV.
Nice.
So that was before Winger?
Oh yeah,
definitely way before Winger.
Yeah, I didn't know you played with Alice.
Yeah,
I did two. Well, I played on albums ever since. I was on Hollywood Vampires, all that shit. I always do something with them, but I was in that band. We did a year tour. I did 2 albums, and then I left.
What year was that?
I can never remember, man. It was like
Yeah.
85, 86-ish.
Because I did an album with him in 82 at Richie Paz's studio in Studio City with my buddy Dwayne Hitchings. And Alice was all messed up on drugs, and he was, it wasn't the best time for him.
That's
But,
interesting, 82, because, yeah, when I got with him, he was just out of rehab.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I was going, because that same thing here. I mean, he was just coming out of rehab, and it was nothing. The only thing we could have on the bus or anywhere was water, period. No soda, nothing. We were all disallowed to have any of that stuff. That's where I was going. If he was coming, when you were with him, was he just going through that strange time, that transition time?
Yeah, it was really, I mean, you weren't allowed to have anything. I mean, it was like, keep all that shit away from Alice,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he wasn't like he didn't act like an addict or anything. He was super,
No.
I mean,
it was more the
was
people
like,
around him,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Alice is very bright. I mean, he's fucking so intelligent. I mean, it's funny as shit too. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think he didn't skip a beat,
And I remember he used to say he'd sit down and watch television, and he'd write his lyrics, while watching TV, getting lyric ideas from different television shows he watched.
When we played together, it was Alice Cooper in Heaven and Hell. So one night they said, Alice is going to the movies. You want to go? I said, who wouldn't want to go to the movies with Alice Cooper?
Exactly.
So we went to the mall, and he bought everybody popcorn, and then it was really cool. People coming up for autographs and stuff for him. And it was really cool. He's such a great guy. Then he likes to go to the malls.
Yeah.
Walked around the malls and just hung out. It's really cool.
I mean, it's funny, Ron, you say I'm nice. I mean, Alice Cooper is the nicest dude, like, in the business.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's really good. Dude.
They opened up for us at the Whiskey in 1967.
Wow.
Oh my God.
With Vanilla Fudge.
God.
And all they had on stage for the stage show, they had a door frame, right? And Alice would walk, through the door frame with a rubber chicken, wearing all these women's outfits and stuff. And, that's pretty much the whole stage act, and just the makeup and moody lighting and dolls and really crazy stuff like that. And when we saw him, they were signed to Frank Zappa's label at the time. And, we said, they deserve Frank Zappa, because, Frank Zappa deserves them, I should say. And it was so weird, because that was the first time we ever seen something so strange on stage, like that.
He was the original one, right? I mean, Kiss and all those guys kind of followed suit. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, Kip, so, there's so much to your music, too. I mean, obviously, it's been called so many different things. Is it metal, heavy metal? Is it glam rock, your original stuff? But I love the orchestral part and the way you go about your writings, and that you're very into the classical end of things. And a lot of people, I know your deep fans know, but a lot of people don't realize just how much you got involved with classical music.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Man, it's just because I heard the music and I was getting frustrated over the years that I wasn't able to articulate it. So it was kind of like in '93 when grunge came in, and the bands like us were like out of a gig.
Yeah.
I took it upon myself to go study as cat at the University of New Mexico, and then when I moved to Nashville, I got another composition teacher at Vanderbilt, and then after that I met this other guy in New York, and I flew to New York once a month, and I really just wanted to learn how to orchestrate, do real, orchestral music on their terms, basically, and it came from doing ballet when I was a kid, man. I studied karate with my brothers, and then I decided to do ballet. It was very musical, and it was like I did my first class, and I was like, this is amazing, and the music was incredible. Listening to Stravinsky, like, who the fuck wrote that? Because I was playing, ain't seen a night, things work out right, Grand Funk and shit. And I'm hearing all this classical music going, what the fuck is that? So I was afraid of it for a very long time. And then when we were all kind of out of a gig, I was like, hey man, I'm going to do this. So I studied and studied and studied my ass off, and then I wrote some shit. And I got nominated for a Grammy for classical composition in 2017, which was
Crazy?
really
Is that
cool.
crazy?
Yeah.
Now, do you put any of that out? I mean, is it?
Yeah. It's out. I have an album called Conversation with Nijinsky. Actually, funny. It's out, but I'm moving digital distributors right now for that. But that's out. That was #1 on the classical charts, actually.
Wow.
And then
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
It really is.
And I just was commissioned by Nashville Symphony to write an album of music with them. I just finished my first symphony. Well, not just. February of this year, I finished my first symphony. That was supposed to be premiered October, but now it's all canceled until next year. And a violin concerto for their concertmaster. So
you wrote a violin concerto?
I'm doing that now, actually. I finished. I did a 25-minute symphony, 4 movements,
Wow.
and
So you write all the parts, all the parts, the drum parts, the.
I do. That was the main.
Wow.
That was the main thing. I really wanted to. I went. I didn't go to school, but I studied with some really serious composers and learned how to articulate for all of the instrument, all that stuff. Because for me, you're not like a serious composer unless you actually do it all. You can't like write a melody and then hire the guy that knows the craft. I mean, you really gotta, you gotta do it yourself.
Sorry, have you done any piano work, like piano concertos or anything with the piano?
I have not, but I would write a piano concerto. And I have a couple people in mind that I would like to write for. But to be honest with you, it's torture. I mean, it sounds glamorous and it's like really cool and it's very rewarding, but it's fucking torture. I mean,
I would think it would be.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it'll take me like a week to do, 8 bars or 9 bars of music because you're counterpoint and orchestration.
Are you just writing? You're just writing it on music, or are you playing it on something first?
I do both. I program and I use Logic to compose, and I have all the Vienna Symphonic Library shit.
Wow.
And then, but I do pencil and paper when I work out counterpoint and stuff like that.
And that stuff you learned from teaching, from the lessons you took.
Yes, I didn't do anything at 35 years old. I started at 35 and then now 59. So yeah.
Wow.
I was self-taught, man. I was like,
God bless.
I was self-taught. Yeah, self-taught musician. I mean, I read like very poorly piano music, but I started it all when I was 35.
But so you're doing these things. It's obviously in Nijinsky style, but is it actual like full-bodied? Concerto style as a orchestral style versus, I mean, is it a rock? Like in my head, I got like a rock opera going on.
No, man,
it's real deal.
This sounds like the real deal stuff.
Yeah, no, it's. Well, I was on my first. I get programmed a lot with Stravinsky actually because I
really.
So the first program, yeah. I mean, the last time Nashville Symphony played my stuff, I was on the bill with, it was me, Stravinsky, and there's a black pianist named Andre Watts who played McDowell piano concerto.
Wow.
And so I get programmed. My programming with the symphony that I just wrote for Nashville Symphony is Beethoven and Winger. That's the program.
I would take it out on the road. I would love that show. Are you kidding?
Too expensive, dude. Yeah, it's just that's the problem. It's really hard to get performed, and I've been very lucky. But you have to get an orchestra to program your stuff.
How many pieces did you write it for?
The symphony, I think, is 60 and up probably.
Oh man,
there's 5
amazing.
5 percussion parts. So. Strings, winds, brass, percussion, and piano. But the piano plays. It's not a piano part. It's really just I use grand piano doubling bass and stuff like that, because
Right.
because I come from the rock world, there's a lot of percussion effects that you can't get with strings and stuff. So I'll like have the pianos like pound out with the double basses. You'll be doubling the stuff on the piano just to get a more evil sound,
Oh, and what else do they use? Do you use in
Very
the
good,
percussion?
Mr. Evil.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What else do you use in the percussion end?
Well, I mean, I write a very solid timpani part to begin with, and then I'll have like, in this last thing I had, several gongs, toms. It's toms, and it's hard to get orchestra guys to understand how you guys do toms, because when I write for toms, I always want flams,
Right.
And you can't, and you have to write it a very specific way. You just can't say flam this. You have to like.
No, you have to write it as a flam.
You have to understand exactly how to do that. Marimba, Celeste, suspended cymbal, finger cymbals.
Deep, man. This is deep.
When you write a flam, is it written the way we? I read music. I write books. I studied and all that. A flam is a little note with a tie with a big note. Is that how you write it? And the guys don't understand that.
They do, but when there exactly, there it is, right there, right. Yeah. So
flam beats.
Flam beats.
So,
but do they understand it? That's the point. Do they understand those guys?
My point is that when you're talking, because they're so used to playing very perfect orchestra music, and when I want, I'm like, hey, I want this to rock a little bit, so. What I did in this, it's interesting with this symphony I wrote, what I did was I took 4 words, 3 of them are Greek words, and I made Morse code, and I translated I turned them into Morse code, and I made the rhythm based off the Morse code of those words. Like the third movement is metamorphosis. It goes ba 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 ba.
Dots and dashes. That's all it is. Dots and dashes.
And so now what timing is that in?
That was just da 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 ba da ba. That's just in 4. I mean, I have a lot of weird time changes and stuff like that.
Good.
Did anybody answer you?
Did anybody answer me? What do you mean?
You sent Morse code.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well, it's about the theme. The theme is there's a. I can't actually tell you this because this is coming when I do my talks for Nashville Symphony, but nobody answered me to answer your question.
Okay, all right.
Not yet.
That's really cool.
You should have got. Did you ever have Rod? Think about Rod playing drums against the orchestra with all the weird timings.
I have thought about that, and I had to call him up for some of that stuff that Vinny just put up. Because when I was like trying to figure out how to write some stuff, I had to call Rod Morgenstein.
That's like, what is that? Young Frankenstein? Flab Luca.
I had to. The first movement of the piece is SOS, which is ba 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 ba, and I was going Rod. Yeah, exactly. So I was trying to help Rod help me how I should write, what time signature I should put that in to get the most out of it, So
really something, man. I mean, that's what I'm saying. People don't realize just how deep your musicality is.
So what timing did you put it in? You remember?
It's just in 6.
Like 7. It sounds like a 6 or a 7. Yeah.
It's just a 6, and I spread it out all over by the end of it, the whole orchestra, the last statement of the first movement, the whole orchestra, in quadruple forte, ga 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 ga. That's how it ends on the first movement.
That's cool.
So it's
very cool,
very rock. I I had a friend of mine who's deep in the classical world and doesn't hang in the rock world. He goes, he listened to it, goes, I like, because I have a MIDI rendering of it. He goes, I really like this piece, although the end of that first movement was very crass.
Crass.
And I thought, yes,
Yeah,
I
right.
need that to be crass.
I've offended you. Yes.
Where can we hear some of this?
Well, it's like I say, it was supposed to be premiered in October, so we're waiting for the schedule, and they're recording it. So I don't actually know. I mean, I could privately send you my MIDI version of it, which is pretty good. I mean,
I'd love to hear it.
yeah, thank you.
Oh, we all would love to hear it. My God. I mean, just
You can't hear it. You're not a musician.
Yes, I am.
You don't know what a flam is.
Yes, I do. It's what you do.
Ah!
That's what I'm talking about. That's like, well, when I bake, I make flambe. It's the same thing, isn't
Oh,
it?
that's true. Yeah, flambe.
Well,
And that's what I was talking about, again, the musicality, because, again, you talked about glam rock, heavy metal, but you're talking about metal, prog metal that you've been classified as well, progressive metal. And you actually did a little work with another one of our good friends over here, Alan Parsons, who is a prog guy, of course, How did that all happen, you getting together with Alan?
Man, you guys know Jim Pedrig, right?
Yeah.
Intimately.
Yeah.
So,
So
he was on the show too.
Sure.
I love Jim. So Jim did these benefits, and he used to invite me to them. If he still does them, I'm not invited, and he might be pissed at me for some
Not at all. That's
reasons
one guy's
unknown.
going to get pissed at anybody, believe me.
Yeah, I love Jim. So he invited me to the thing. Actually, Kelly Keegi from Night Ranger turned me on to Jim, introduced me to Jim, and then I went up and did a benefit, and Alan was at the benefit, and we all did like a couple songs, and I was a big Alan fan.
Yep.
And I really, I just met Alan. It was just backstage, like, God, I'm a huge fan. Very nice to meet you. That was it. And then I had just landed at LAX, and I got a phone call, and it was like, hello, Kip, it's Alan Parsons. I'd like you to be my lead singer. I was like, fucking tell me where to show up.
Yeah.
And
Another great guy.
Well, the great story, and I've told this story many times, is that when I was 15 in a band with my brothers, I sent him my demo tape, and he fucking answered me, and I still have the letter. Yeah, so it was 1970 something, and must have been 77, and I showed up at the first gig, and I'm like, check this out, Alan, you wrote me back, dude. You're a good guy. That's another good guy.
No, he's a great guy. We had him here. We had him here on my birthday, and he found out about it. Somebody, whatever. And in the middle of his show, and even his people say that he never does. Once he gets going on his show, he doesn't stop. In the middle of the show, he stops it and he plays "Happy Birthday" to me back. I have to walk out from backstage, and then we take a picture. It's like a kindergartner being picked up by his grandfather. The guy's 7 feet tall. The guy's a monster. Me next to him, yeah, it's kind of interesting.
That's it. And the end of it went, "Happy birthday! Thanks for those meatballs."
That's right.
Happy birthday, dear.
That's why he did that.
You mentioned Kelly Keegi again. I'm so just honored to at my stage, Vinny, Carmine, you, Kelly with Night Ranger several times, Doug from King's X. He was here several times. What and obviously that's your mob band right there. Any possibility of that's what I've been finding with all this stuff with this lockdown. There's a lot of things that are happening or can happen or will happen that wouldn't have normally happened except for all this lockdown stuff. A lot of reunions, and
like the show.
Exactly, boom, boom. But reunions, a lot of reunions are happening. Any chance you guys doing any things, any mob stuff?
No, there probably isn't, and that was a record that I just kind of got called in to help finish, and I ended up doing a lot more than I intended to do. I love that album, actually. That was a fun thing. And for you guys probably don't know what we're talking about. It was a record with Kelly Keegi, Reb Beach, me, Doug Pinnick, and who's the keyboard player? Ron, do you remember the keyboard player's name?
No, I just know.
Timothy Drury.
Oh my God, Timmy! Jeez.
Yeah, and there were some really fun songs on that, and I've always been a huge King's X fan. A lot of musicians are King's X fans.
Yeah.
And Doug's a lovely guy, and his voice is so fucking cool. I was very excited to just record his voice. You know, that was a really cool experience in itself.
Yeah.
And,
I had him on my Guitar Zeus record. Doug, I went to Texas and got him and guitar player, which I went blank on his name now. What's the guitar player? King's X. Guys.
Oh, now I'm going blank.
Oh my gosh.
God.
They were just here. They're coming back.
God. Come on. Ty Tabor.
Ty Tabor, right.
Wow, that's a team.
So I got him and Ty on the track. And once I got Doug on the track, I went and got Yngwie, and Yngwie says, I want to be on the track with Doug.
Really?
Yeah. So I did that. And it's funny, when I got Mick Mars said, I want to be on the track with Edgar Winter, because Edgar Winter sang on one track. So those were weird combinations, you know. Doug and Yngwie and Edgar and Mick Mars is really off the wall.
That's awesome.
But Doug was a big Cactus fan. When I met Doug and Ty and the band, we were on tour with King's X, Blue Murder, and Billy Squire back, it was in '89. And I walked on. You know, I'm always the kind of guy when I like to get to know the opening act. You know, so I walked on their bus, and they had Cactus playing on the bus through the speakers.
No kidding.
And I went, oh my God! He goes, oh man, we're big Cactus fans, and we immediately hit it off. You know,
that's awesome.
Good friend.
I love them. What's Billy Squire doing, man? I just wrote a song that I just did. Like, you know how when you write a song and you don't know the words yet, you're like, you know, like no words, but it reminded me of Billy Squire. What the fuck's Billy Squire up in there?
No, man, I've been trying for years to get him, and I can tell you, it's the hardest thing. There's a couple of guys out there that just won't do it, and you know, it's not even.
Why?
You know what? The agents don't know.
Weird.
You know, Dion Belushi is another one.
Wow.
You know, I've been trying to get Dion back. I had him once, and everybody loves Dion. He won't do it. I don't know.
Who's Dion? Dion who?
DiMucci.
I mean, the Wanderer?
Wanderer.
Wow. Oh, because he's probably 80 years old now.
No, he's doing it. He does it in Florida by you, where all the other 80-year-olds
are. Hey, shut up, you.
I did that for Carmine, too.
I like it. You shut up, too, Vinny. I'll tell your mother.
You know what, Kip? You're in Nashville right now. You're living there, been there for a while. I know we mentioned earlier before we got on that Tommy Kiefer's down there. What's in Nashville that brings you rock and rollers down there and makes you stay down there in Nashville?
Number one, it's getting dark over there.
I know. Look at.
I need a light.
Right? It's getting dark. Hey, there you go.
Hey, that's what you look like.
Yeah, sorry, you guys. It's
down there.
It's gonna get dark in here. You know what? I don't know. We were on the Poison tour in 2002. Paul Taylor, the keyboard player for Winger, and I needed to get out of Santa Fe, and I was wondering where to go. And at the time, I knew somebody that worked at Sony that wanted some help, you know, producing some records and stuff like that, and kind of like to represent the rock, because there was really only country. And I came to do that. You know, it didn't really work out, and I just kind of stayed. You know, that's how that happened.
It's a great area. The weather helps, of course.
Well, I mean, I haven't been the biggest fan of Nashville, but it's gotten really great, and there's a lot of now everybody's here, so it's, you know, you have to. One thing that's really incredible about it is there's a, you know, within a very small circumference, there's a shitload of incredible studios, incredible talent. You know, the best guitar player is working at the post office who blows, you know, I mean, it's really very accessible. Tons of, you know, it's like the business is at your fingertips. That's the good thing. That's why people dig it. No. It's hot and sweaty in the summer. The winters are dark and depressing. So, you know, whatever, but, the spring and fall are great.
And you had a hurricane, right?
Tornadoes.
Oh, tornadoes, yeah.
Gosh. Whitesnake. Let's talk Whitesnake. You know what? I was lucky enough to do a couple shows. I did one outdoor just a few years back, and Coverdale was very cool. He took a picture with me, which he doesn't do, as you know. And the biggest compliment he gave me was that the bugs in our area are very tasty, because I had a stage. We did an outdoor thing, and we put the stage right on the river. And he goes, I hope these, he said, I hope these bugs are sugar-free, because I just ate 2 pounds of them. So it was very cool. And the other coolest thing about a Whitesnake show, I'm a huge Sopranos fan. Andrea Di Matteo came, and who's she married to? She married in Whitesnake?
I don't think they're together anymore. The bass player.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. She's in the Sopranos. She's Michael Imperioli's girlfriend.
Michael Devon.
Michael Devon, there you go. And she was backstage. It was cool. Yeah, it was cool. But how did the Whitesnake thing happen for you, Kip?
I didn't do Whitesnake. That's Reb. So Reb was in.
I was wondering. I said I don't remember you in Whitesnake.
No, that's I bet. But your guys in the band, because I know there's some times that we have to plan around the Whitesnake tour to bring Winger.
Reb Beach is actually the longest living member, of Whitesnake outside of David Coverdale. He's been in the band longer than any other individual member.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's just been a great gig for him. And Rod was teaching at Berkeley for 20 years, and I was, kind of doing all of my projects. So it was, Winger as a band kind of did our thing on the off schedule of Whitesnake, and we would kind of do it back and forth thing for years. So
that's where I was going. I mean, has it affected you? I mean, there are times that you had to literally guide your tour around based on what Whitesnake was doing.
Well, and something, but it didn't really. It hasn't been a problem, because it's kind of like on when they're off. Kind of they go out. They make a record while we're out. Kind of back and forth. But I mean, it's a good gig. Reb's been in a lot of good bands: Dokken, Night Ranger, Whitesnake, Alice Cooper. He's really got a hell of a pedigree.
Hey, when you've been playing, go ahead, Carm.
So where's Rod these days?
Rod is he lives in Northport, New York, and
he's still in Long Island. Wow.
Yeah, he's doing well. He just stopped teaching at Berkeley, and he had his father passed away recently, so that was kind of not a great thing. But I'll see him soon. We're going to be making we'll cut his drums soon, but I talk to him every day. He's doing very well.
Awesome.
Tell me hi.
I said hi for sure. I'm Vinny.
I will. And by the way, if you guys don't know this gum, oh my God, it's the greatest gum ever. Put that in my dressing room, Ron.
You got it. Meatballs in that gum. That's all we need. You know what? Again, fortunate enough to have you play the Arcada so many times, not only with Winger, but we love when you play the Speakeasy upstairs with your solo show. A lot of guys try to pull off a solo. When I say solo, most guys who do solo shows bring 2 or 3 people with them on stage. You are a true solo, and you do 2 hours, and what you give to the audience between stories, accessibility, all the songs, they call out songs. I mean, it really, really is an amazing experience.
It's fun, man. I started that back when I started studying classical music, because we were all out of a job. So it was like, what am I going to do? I guess I did a Borders bookstore tour, and I played at 4 p.m. to 10 people, and a year before that I was playing to, 5,000 or 6,000 people. So it was a long way down to the bottom, and I put my guitar, I just carried my guitar around and played for 10 people, and I realized that it doesn't matter who you play to. Music heals your soul, and if it's one person you're moving, that's
right.
That was fine. So I'm kind of one of the original guys who did the unplugged thing. It was 95 or 96, and it was very organic evolution. I played 4 songs, really. And then somebody would say, hey, can you play that one song off your 3rd album? And I don't know. Let me try it. and I just built up a 2-hour set by fan request. That's how that all came to be, and super thankful that people show up to that shit.
Oh, it's a sellout for us every time. We do a couple times, 2 nights. I mean, it's really something. And just also on the, again, a selfish question for me, because we pair up a lot of the bands. We'll do Docket and Warrant, and we'll do actually Docket and yeah, I know.
Way better.
I know.
We were getting worried you were getting into the black.
I know. There you go.
I got my phone light on.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
How about this?
Technology.
Whoa.
You look like a Queen. You look like a Queen album, or a Kiss album now. All of a sudden. Hey, who is there any particular band? Your Warrants, your Dockets, your Firehouses, your YNTs that you Winger, would like to co-bill with, that you enjoy doing things with.
I love YNT. They're awesome.
Oh yeah, fabulous.
You know what? I like it. I mean, I honestly don't have a preference. I'm like, whoever will bring in the right crowd, basically. I mean,
right?
Because I don't dislike playing with anyone, so it's fine. I mean, I'm sorry to not give you like the awesome answer to that, but
we've done it. We've done you and Firehouse. We've done you and Warrant. We've done YNT and Dave Benicchetti. They've been growing still to this day. They're growing their audience. Firehouse growing their audience. I mean, really, really good bands. So, is there somebody that you would like to play with that you haven't yet, because you played with so many?
Carmine.
There it is.
I knew he was going to say that.
Hey.
Vinny. That. I mean, hey, Vinny, let's do a double drum thing. Well, you guys.
We got it. We got a whole show.
We got a whole show. Drum Wars. We do. That's really awesome.
Did you guys see?
And we play solo too.
Did you see King Crimson when they went out with 3 drummers this last go around?
I saw videos of it. It's pretty crazy, man.
Pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, it's all those great. They're all great drummers too.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
So we do a thing, and this is we're having a great amount of activity here with our audience. I mean, a lot of comments coming in. Everyone's loving Kip. I tell you what, everybody freaking loves you. I tell you, and these 2 guys that I get to be with every week. But we do this regular thing, kind of semi-regular. We just started it. That Mr. Carmine put together. It's called Name That Beat, and we're going to try to ask the audience to be a part of it.
This is a rough one. This is a rough one for the audience.
Fail.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I gotta give them a little hint. You gotta be a Vanilla Fudge fan, and you gotta be a fan of a little bit early Vanilla Fudge.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got for this week. All right, let me see you guys.
Here's one you might remember for the oldies. We did this on Ed Sullivan, and it was a hit for us in the late 60s. See if you know this song. Out of sync.
Oh. All right, come on, you guys. Who is it? What could it be?
I know what it is. I know what it is.
Vinny knows.
Dave Ferris. Dave Ferris.
Did anybody? Yeah.
Dave Ferris.
You got it. Dave Ferris. You got it.
Good job, buddy. I tell you what, Dave, you got to email me, ron@oshows.com. I don't know what I'm going to send you, but we're going to send you something for guessing it. All right, buddy?
Cool. Send you something cool.
He's going to send you a $100 gift certificate for any restaurant. Yeah.
A meatball. Send him a meatball.
$100 worth of meatballs.
Which is basically 4 meatballs by me, but still. Well, congratulations. Great job. Hey, Kip, so now you've got
do another one.
No, Kip, we want to know. Everybody wants to know what's going on with the next Winger album.
Well, I can tell you we've got like 7 very good songs right now. We go I mean, anybody that writes songs will tell you that you'll write 20 and maybe you'll get a good one out of it. So we've written a ton of not amazing ideas, but we've written so many ideas that we've, built up, right now we got about 7 that are what I consider to be, our good stuff. And we're kind of right at the phase where I'm writing lyrics and we got to cut drums still. We got most of the rhythm tracks done. We got to write a few more. Reb's coming tomorrow night. And, we got, like I say, we need just a few more like up tempos because we're very famous for doing like mid tempo.
Yep. Are you still writing the gong parts and the timpani parts?
Yeah, no, man. I don't cross collateralize that. I want to rock.
There it is.
Don't you play to the drums, or you put the rhythms down first, then the drums?
Yeah, you know what we do. Reb and I, you know what the thing was, man, is on our first couple albums, we did the demos, and the demos crushed the real albums. And I got I'm so like beat the demo syndrome. You guys, I'm sure you know that shit.
No, demos, the demos are.
It's the oldest story in the book. So what I do is I get the actual guitar sound that we're going to cut the record set up, and everything's happening, the actual bass sound, and then we'll like write to a drum machine. And if it's happening, I will cut the guitars right there in the moment, he comes up with them. So we capture the magic and it's on tape. So, tape, Pro Tools, but
yeah, right.
What tape is that? Scotch? What is that? Scotch tape or gaffer tape?
Exactly. And so then, and then we, we'll bring Rod in when all the basics are done, and then I'll go back and play to Rod.
Yes.
Oh, right. There you go.
Yeah. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it like that.
Because Rod does some shit that just, you got to let him do his thing, and then I come back and
you got to play. You got to play to the drums.
Totally.
Yeah. Talk about demos. Our demo, if you keep hanging on, was the demo that we released, and that's the one that the big hit. One take mono. We sang it and played it all at once. Right?
I mean, that's the thing, it's beat the demo syndrome is just awful. I mean, I have a lot of, I'll leave them unnamed, but there's a lot of songs on my early albums where I'm like, man, you should have heard. Well, I released the demos actually. I have there's a thing called the demo anthology where it's like, check this demo out. It's way better than the record.
Well, that sounds like it'd be a cool one part to your solo show.
Well, I mean, not have to play. No, because I wouldn't be playing them live. So I like to play. I like to play live when I'm doing a live show.
I saw a great. I don't know if it was a promo shot, a commercial for your box set. They had out what? I mean, it was like it wasn't a video for it, but it was like a extended commercial for it or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, Frontiers put out, I've got 4 solo albums that are, what I did with my solo thing, this happened before my classical, and I, again, when the grunge thing happened, we kind of disbanded and said, I mean, we couldn't get a gig anyway, so it was like, let's all just go do our own thing. So
So you're saying, pardon me, you're saying Winger couldn't, like, the demand for Winger?
Nobody.
Yeah, no.
Nobody. We were all dinosaurs, man. We were dinosaurs.
When Nirvana came in, it
destroyed everything.
Really?
Sabbath, we went down to theaters.
Really?
We even one show we took the Holiday Inn van to the gig. We all sat there and went, "Oh, this is good, isn't it?"
Come on.
I remember
Tony, Geezer, and Ronnie, and me riding in the van.
In those days, also, I was playing with Edgar Winter. Vinny, I think you were playing with Dio before that, and we played the same club together.
The same
Remember
what?
that? The same club. We played a club in somewhere in the Midwest that you guys played with Dio.
Oh yeah.
And
well, that was later on.
Yeah, it was in the 90s.
That was the 80s.
No, it wasn't the 80s. It was the 90s. And I went to spend most of the 90s in Japan. Japan did really well.
There, right?
Yeah, I did really well in the 90s in Japan.
Cool.
That's why
And
I
a lot
did
of
those
the bands-
guitar. I did the Guitar Zeus records that worked really, really well in Japan.
Yeah, Europe and Japan. I mean, I know in Italy they just appreciate you guys so much and playing. They're even
Yeah,
playing.
but in the '90s, it was all the grunge, man. The only place I knew of was Europe, Japan, that really would let us work. Let's put it that way. You know?
So you're doing some.
I love international audiences. I mean, they're very good listeners, and they're super devoted
Love 'em.
fans. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny
Totally.
how they won't know the language, but they'll know your songs word for word.
Yep.
You know.
Hey, why don't we do the next show or upcoming show of all of us in Kip's car?
Hot bit,
I
man.
love it.
All four of us in the car.
That's Kip's new show. Kip from the car.
What kind of car are you in? Were you in a van? SUV?
No, I have a little. No, man, I got a little Audi A3, hybrid. I love it. It's awesome. It's like a little rocket ship.
Yeah, I had a couple of A3s. I like Audis. They were good.
Yeah.
You got the new music coming out, Kip. Is it? I mean, ultimately, obviously. Do you plan, or what's your thoughts on releasing some of it? Obviously, on vinyl. Everyone's starting. A lot of people are doing that now. Do you have any desire to go back to
put
vinyl?
it out on vinyl. Definitely put it out on vinyl, and yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, vinyl is like taking off. I was talking to a guy in the industry about it the other day. He's like, you wouldn't believe vinyl is outselling CDs right now.
Yeah, but they're not selling like the old vinyl. The old vinyl,
Well,
like
but that's all they had back
5
then.
million vinyls. Now, if you sell 80,000 vinyls, you're like smoking.
Well, yeah, but compared to
80,000. You
that's
sell
a lot, man.
8,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Somebody said I read somewhere that I forgot who the artist was. They did 80,000 vinyls last year. 19. And I forgot who it was.
Jeez.
And they said that was humongous. And I said,
That is humongous.
I mean,
Humongous.
in 19, what was it, 19, when I did my solo album, 1982, I did 110,000 vinyls, and I didn't even make the charts.
Yeah, but you're comparing two different things here.
I know.
Hey, also vinyls back then were $3.50, $4. Now they're $25.
But they're collectible.
I just bought a couple. Yeah, the thick ones, 180
Yeah,
grand.
but that's inflation too, though. If you think about it, I mean.
But that's a lot of inflation. It went up.
But they're being sold as, albums come out at $3.50 and become collectible. Now they're being sold as a collectible right off the bat.
Yeah, that's true.
I you know what? I never collected much of anything. I collect composers' autographs. I've got Debussy and Ravel and Liszt and
Really?
a bunch of that. But I do have a couple vinyls that I should probably put on eBay. They're like pristine, man.
What,
they're
Winger
worth a lot
vinyl?
of money. No, just from the collection from the old days. But I don't even own a record player, man. So
I just bought one.
I have a little crappy one that my daughter gave me for Christmas. It was like a record player, a CD player, and a cassette player, and you could record the vinyl onto CD and report the CD onto the cassette. It was made like an old Victrola,
So if there's one songwriter or one composer's autograph that you can get right now, who would it be?
Oh, you know what? Funny you say that, because I was just this morning. I did a quick 5-minute search for Eric Satie, because I've really been, everybody knows Eric Satie is that super famous melody, ba 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 ba, and it's very simple. But he actually wrote some. I've been listening to a lot of his music, and it was like there's some really deep piano music. So I was like, I should autograph. But some of the, I actually have a bunch of the ones of my favorite ones. I've been acquiring them for I don't know, 15 years. So. But some of them are nowadays you can't get them so easy. Like, if you wanted to get Wagner or something like that, you'd have to pay
Oh, that's 100,000.
Brahms would be amazing. I don't have a Brahms.
Hey, Kip, I have Eric's autograph.
Love Eric.
I love it.
You're crazy, man. I
Little
tell you what.
16th note on the top.
We missed you last week there, Vinny.
Yeah.
We missed you. Hey, Kip,
I don't know.
you know,
I would get in with Nugent. I don't know.
oh, that's
No,
well,
that
we
was,
might do it
he
again.
was fun, man. He was fun. He wants to do it again with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. It was fun. Hey, Kip, once again, I want to thank you so much for doing this with us, buddy.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
thank you guys. Great seeing all you guys, man.
Yeah,
you
you too,
do.
man.
Yeah.
well, we want to tell everybody, make sure you like us, make sure you share us, make sure you tell all your friends about Artists on Lockdown, where each week we talk to some of the top people in rock and roll. This week, our special guest, Kip Winger, one of the best guys out there. Kip, wish you the best. Good luck on the new music. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Everybody stay healthy.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, you know, next week is the Italian show.
Hell yeah. It's
We
about
got
time.
Roxy Petrucci
Right?
from Vixen. We got
Vixen.
Joe Vitale.
Man.
Carmine
No.
Appice,
Talk
Vinny,
about history with
Appice,
Joe.
Ron Onesti. It's the Italian
Hey,
show.
tell-
You better make
hey.
people.
Tell
Make me
Joe
ball.
I said hi. I love him. He's awesome.
I love him too. He's a great guy.
Well,
Yeah.
today
Right.
is October 1st, and it starts Italian Heritage Month. So this makes a lot of
really?
sense.
That
Yeah,
makes it good stuff.
absolutely.
Next week at this time will be the Italian show will be done. Let's make some pasta. We should all make pasta and eat it.
I'll bring
Yeah.
meatballs to the party. You know that. And
Hey,
then
That's
we've
it.
got Lita Ford. We've got Dee Snyder. We've got some great guests coming up, like we did today. Once again, Kip, best of luck. My brothers, Vinny, Carmine, love you.
woo!
Thank you for the honor of being a part of this. Everybody,
Thank you very
stay
much,
safe.
you guys.
Stay
Yeah,
healthy.
cheers, bro.
I'll see you
Good night,
soon.
everybody.
I want to hear,
Bye-bye.
I want to
Nice
hear
to
some
see
of
ya.
that music. I want to hear some of that music, Kim.
I'll send it to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you
Vinny,
very
have
much.
a-
Have a good one.
Good
Bye,
job.
guys.
Bye-bye.